In this CarGurus UK video review, we're going to take a look at this. It is the Vauxhall Combo Life Electric, and it started out as the Vauxhall Combo Life in either petrol or diesel, and if you wanted an electric powertrain, it was called the E-Life. Now though, this van-turned people carrier is available only as an electric car, unless you need a conversion for wheelchair accommodation, in which case Vauxhall will still sell you a version with a diesel engine, as the underfloor battery pack means the EV models can't be converted to accept wheelchairs. What that means is you get a 136 horsepower electric motor under the bonnet, driving the front wheels, served by a 50 kilowatt hour battery pack. The official WLTP range is 174 miles, which is about the same as a Peugeot E-Rifter and Citroen E-Berlingo, which is no surprise considering they're all part of the gigantic Stellantis group. The big question is that range enough? In the real world, you're looking at a range of 150 miles or so, possibly less in the winter when battery packs are less efficient. That does make it one of the shorter range family EVs, which could be a problem if you do a lot of long journeys because you are reliant then on public charging places. However, it can charge at up to 100 kilowatts, which means you can get an 80% charge in just half an hour. And if you're doing lots of short local journeys, then you can just charge it at home. And it takes around 7 hours to charge from your 7 kilowatt home wall box. It's also not the sexiest looking vehicle ever made, and sure, we get that this sort of boxy van-based people carrier is more about utility than eye-catching styling, but both the Peugeot E-Rifter and Citroen E-Berlingo have a bit more visual impact. Pricing is a bit of an issue as well because it is £34,000, which is a good few £1,000s more than a similar type of vehicle, as in a van-based MPV, but diesel-powered. So the Ford Grand Tourneo Connect and the Volkswagen Caddy Life are both diesel-powered and van-like MPVs, and they're a few £1,000s cheaper. Although, if you compare it to a family car, such as the electric Volkswagen ID.3, it's about the same. And although the Volkswagen will take you a bit further on a single charge and possibly make you look a bit cooler, you can fit a hell of a lot more stuff in the Combo Life than you can in an ID.3. That's pretty obvious, even just looking at its boxy shape. Now, back here, we can open just the glass to pop some items in or access the boot. And then, providing you have the space to do so, we can open it fully. And we've got the shorter 5-seater version, which has 597 litres of space up to the luggage cover behind the second row of seats. If you go for the longer 7-seater version, you get 850 litres behind the second row of seats, but it's 30 centimetres longer. Fold all the seats down meanwhile and you'll get a cavernous 2,126 litres of room, or an astonishing 2,693 litres in the XL version. By way of comparison, the much larger and more expensive Nissan X-Trail can only manage 1,424 litres. Another impressive feature about the Vauxhall Combo Life Electric is that despite it being an electric vehicle, the battery packs do not eat into boot space or rear passenger space. There is plenty in both. And it sounds funny how great it is to have electric windows back here, but there are plenty of vehicles like this with sliding doors that not only do not have electric windows, they do not even have windows that go down at all. However, unless you go for the 7-seat version, you can't slide these seats back and forth. That being said, they do fold individually and fit flush into the floor of the car, and they're much easier to use than in some rivals. Clever. Up front, the seats are reasonably comfortable, if a little bit utilitarian, and this is a good touch here, having a retractable armrest. Now, there's plenty of adjustment in the steering wheel for reach and rake, and also the seats, so drivers of most shapes and sizes should find a comfortable driving position. What's less impressive are the hard, overly shiny and scratchy feeling plastics that dominate the interior. Even though the design is reasonably attractive, it means you're forever reminded that you're driving a car with commercial vehicle roots. Considering this vehicle is aimed at families, storage could be better. There is no central stowage here. The door bins are quite small and the cup holders are so shallow they could barely take an espresso. On the plus side though, there is a little bit of storage here. These are quite useful, and above the steering wheel there is a decent storage cubby here. And even though there are physical buttons for the air conditioning, that's a little spoiled by the fact that they're both hard to reach and to see easily on the move. The digital climate control on the top spec Ultimate trim level is better, however. There's nothing much to criticise about the infotainment system, and it comes with all the goodies that you would hope for, including reversing camera, top-down camera, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. If you don't want to use the built-in sat-nav, you can use the map on your phone. There's also a heated steering wheel and cruise control, so at least equipment levels aren't sparse. On the move, you can choose between Sport, Eco and Normal, but the best setting is just Normal mode, because in Eco mode, it artificially restricts the throttle response, which is a little frustrating. And, well, Sport mode in a car like this is a bit pointless, really. Because sporty it is not. Although a 0 to 62 miles per hour sprint of 11.7 seconds is reasonable, the combo is limited to 84 miles per hour, and it doesn't feel especially enthusiastic about getting up to that speed. It's perfectly zippy enough to keep up with the flow of traffic, but that's about it. That's partly down to weight. Even though the Vauxhall Combo Life Electric has a relatively small battery, it still weighs 300 kilograms more than the old petrol and diesel versions. And it comes in at 1700 kilograms. Sure, that's not really heavy in automotive terms, but you can definitely feel that extra heft through the corners. There's a lot of body lean in the corners, and you can really feel the weight shifting around if you turn in too quickly. Vauxhall makes up for that with light feeling steering and reasonably confidence-inspiring brakes, but this isn't a car that you're going to enjoy pressing on in. Of course, its primary purpose is functional, practical transport, and it achieves this competently. The ride is smooth enough so that passengers and yourself won't be jostled around too much, and even though there's a bit of wind noise, it's not too intrusive. There is a little bit of a downside that these tiny speakers do struggle a little bit at motorway speeds. It's not all that energy efficient though. If you can coax 4 miles per kilowatt hour from it, you'll get that 174 mile claimed range. But on motorway speed runs, we've been getting closer to 3 miles per kilowatt hour. That will only give you a real world range of about 125 miles before you're going to start looking for somewhere to charge it up. In cost terms, at that 3 miles per kilowatt hour rate, it will be cheaper than in the diesel equivalent Ford Grand Tourneo Connect if you charge at home. If you're using the rapid charging points, however, it is likely to cost more, certainly with prices today as we're filming. In the end, the Vauxhall Combo Life Electric is a bit of an oddball. It seems to major on ultra functional, ultra sensible, and there's a lot of space in a relatively small package. But the lack of clever storage solutions and the range are going to work against it. And that forgettable design means it just doesn't have that same quirky design sparkle that the Peugeot E-Rifter and the Citroen E-Berlingo just seem to have. And there's always the brand new Ford Grand Tourneo Connect as well, with its conventional economical diesel engine. If that appeals, why not check out our video review of it?